I'm Amelia, 35, and my brother, Simon, 32, always saw the world through a lens of extreme exclusivity. Simon believed that status wasn't earned, it was curated by who you kept out. His obsession with image intensified when he got engaged to Chloe, a woman whose family owned a chain of high-end boutique hotels. This was Simon's ultimate social climb, and he was determined that every detail, including the guest list, reflect his new, elevated world. I, Amelia, am a successful but decidedly low-key corporate real estate developer. My work involves meticulous financial modeling and complex asset acquisition, the unglamorous, highly profitable side of the property business. My success funded my life, not my vanity. The humiliation began 6 months ago. Simon was finalizing the guest list for their engagement party, which was set to be held at the Grand Cypress, the flagship historic hotel owned by Chloe's family. It was a massive public display of their new, joined affluence. Simon called me under the guise of reviewing logistics. "Amelia, about the party," he started, his voice strained. It's very exclusive. Chloe and her mother are being quite strict. The theme is historic elegance, and, frankly, your current professional life, it just doesn't fit the brand. I was confused. What does my work have to do with my attendance? I'm your sister. Look, you show up in those practical suits talking about foreclosure filings and commercial debt restructuring. It's messy. It's not elegant. We have international investors coming, and your presence disrupts the desired aesthetic. It screams bankruptcy, not billionaire. You're cut, Amelia. It's just easier if you don't come. We'll send you a nice photo. He didn't just disinvite me, he banned me because my honest, profitable work wasn't pretty enough for his aesthetic. My career, which paid for my debt-free life, was deemed too unclean for his borrowed luxury. The insult was final, cruel, and tied entirely to his social aspiration. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I simply hung up the phone and opened my laptop. Simon wanted an exclusive aesthetic? Fine. I would give him an exclusive aesthetic, the kind only a deep-pocketed developer could truly afford. The setup. Targeting the flagship. My revenge was not going to be a simple disruption. It was going to be a hostile corporate acquisition. Simon's party was being held at the Grand Cypress, the heart of Chloe's family's portfolio and the symbol of their social power. That hotel was my target. I pulled every public filing I could find on Chloe's family's hotel group. My initial analysis was startling. The Grand Cypress, while beautiful and prestigious, was over-leveraged. The family had used it as collateral to fund 2 other less successful ventures. They had a massive, poorly structured loan with a regional investment group. And that loan was set to renew in 4 weeks, just 2 weeks before Simon's engagement party. A loan renewal of that size in the current market, I knew was a huge point of vulnerability. I immediately contacted my firm's managing partners. I have a target, the Grand Cypress. Prime location, high visibility, financially fragile. We can acquire the majority interest in the underlying debt and force a restructuring that gives us control of the asset. I structured the deal meticulously. I knew the family couldn't survive a full, immediate capital call. My firm, Atlas Property Acquisitions, would buy the debt from the regional bank at a discount, then immediately move to enforce new, impossible collateral terms. The family would be forced into a fire sale or a transfer of the title. The entire process was complex, requiring non-disclosure agreements, offshore financing, and a team of corporate lawyers working 20-hour days. For 3 weeks, I ate, slept, and breathed the collapse of the Grand Cypress, all while Simon posted photos of custom invitations and champagne tastings. The acquisition, the closing, and the notice. The deal closed 1 week before Simon's engagement party. Atlas Property Acquisitions became the largest creditor of the hotel chain, and I, leveraging my equity, had been appointed the executive manager of restructuring and transition for the asset. The final step was the delivery of the legal notice. This couldn't be subtle. It had to be delivered to the family at the point of maximum visibility and stress. The day before the party, Chloe's mother, a woman who had fully endorsed my ban, was at the Grand Cypress, overseeing the final setup. The place was dripping with white flowers, custom lighting, and the expensive aesthetic Simon craved. I arrived with a single lawyer and a binder. I walked past the concierge who tried to stop me and headed straight for the grand ballroom. I found Chloe's mother arguing with the florist. "Mrs. Hemlock," I said, my voice cutting through the noise. "I'm Amelia. I'm afraid we need to discuss a contractual issue regarding this venue." She looked at me with immediate disgust, recognizing me from family photos. "You! Simon said you were not to be here. Get out, Amelia, or I will call security." My lawyer stepped forward, handing her the large, embossed notice. "This is a notice of transition of ownership, effective immediately. Atlas Property Acquisitions is the new controlling lien holder. We are freezing all non-essential expenditures and personnel until the property valuation is complete." She stared at the document, incomprehension warring with panic. "Atlas? Who is Atlas? You can't do this. The party is tomorrow." "That is correct," I confirmed, pulling out my own business card and placing it gently on the table next to a massive floral centerpiece. The card read, "Amelia R., Executive Transition Manager, Atlas Property Acquisitions. Atlas is the company that bought your debt, Mrs. Hemlock, and I am the manager in charge of liquidating the least efficient assets, which unfortunately includes freezing operations on this property pending review." "But who are you to tell me what happens to my hotel?" she shrieked, clutching the notice. I gave her the exact smile Simon had given me 6 months ago. "I am the woman who cleans up the messy bankruptcies, Mrs. Hemlock, the kind that doesn't fit your elegant aesthetic. As the new legal controller of this asset, I regret to inform you that your booking for tomorrow night's engagement party is hereby canceled due to operational transition." The ultimate lockout. The chaos that followed was glorious. Simon, who had been smugly checking lighting arrangements, ran into the room, hysterical. "What is happening? Amelia, what is this joke? Tell your friend to leave. The party starts tomorrow." I looked at my brother, who had banned me for being pedestrian. "There is no party, Simon. There is a foreclosure. You kicked me out of your engagement party, but you didn't argue. Why? Because you assumed I had no power. Only messy, low-status work. You measured success by the appearance of wealth. I measured it by the ownership of the underlying assets." I pulled out a final, notarized document. "I want you to know, Simon, that I had full authority to halt the acquisition and save this property if I chose to. Instead, I executed the sale this week." "Why, Amelia? Why would you ruin me like this?" he begged, tears welling in his eyes. "This is family. This is my life." "This is not personal, Simon. This is Asset Recovery 101, I stated, leaning in. "But if you must know the personal reason, 6 months ago, you called my stable life messy and banned me because my work didn't fit your elegant aesthetic. I decided to prove that the elegance you crave is only an illusion built on fragile debt. I didn't argue then, Simon, because I was busy buying your venue. You wanted exclusivity? You got it. The hotel is closed exclusively to you." The entire event, the lavish decorations, the custom menus, the prestigious guest list, collapsed. The entire city saw their social debut turn into a public foreclosure spectacle. I looked at the terrified staff, who were now my employees. I gave them instructions to pack up the flowers and donate the food to a local shelter, minimizing the damage to the employees and the community, but maximizing the humiliation for Simon. The last image I saw was Simon surrounded by wilting flowers and his shattered fiancée begging her father to intercede, only to be told the papers were signed and the asset belonged to Atlas. I left, not with revenge, but with controlling interest in a multi-million-dollar asset and the profound satisfaction of knowing I taught my brother that the most powerful thing in business is not the title on the door, but the name on the deed, and that the sister he thought he could exclude was the one who could lock him out of his own dreams forever.